Folks, we are finding out about the J6 thing every day now. The Horowitz report come out the other day involving letting us know that 26 FBI agents, or confidential informants as they call them, CSIs, were actually on the property, and some of them actually breached Capitol as well. We found this out less than a week ago, and just today was another 100-page drop of information about the J6 committee. We're going to get to the meat and potatoes of everything that's left that wasn't destroyed by that sham J6 committee, but we already know that Adam Schiff and Liz Cheney have done some criminal acts in the way they handled things, and we have now caught Liz Cheney red-handed with her text messages. She was indirectly talking with Cassidy Hutchins to coax her before she come before Congress. No lawyer present, and they were doing this indirectly through like a third party. I'm guessing it's Liz Cheney's staffer and Cassidy Hutchins' lawyer's phone, trying to keep it as indirect as possible because I knew they were doing some shady shit. Back, folks. We're going to get into it. I got several little pieces of information for you about that, and then I want to bring to you some more Stephen A. Smith. I liked what he said yesterday so much, I went back over to his channel today, and he's got another fire video. A little long, but we're going to go through some of it together, and I give him a subscription. He's a sports commentator. He used to work for Fox. He says he's an independent. I always thought he was a lefty. But in the last 2 days, some of the things he said need to be said, and I wish everybody would take that video that I'm going to play y'all here in a little bit, and at least take parts of that and share it, if not the whole thing, especially with your lefty friends, with people that don't understand this movement, that don't understand that Trump's not a racist, all these things. He breaks it down so eloquently, and I'm going to bring that to y'all. Hopefully y'all don't mind listening to Stephen A. Smith, because I think at least his last two videos have been absolutely spot on and accurate for what the Democrat Party needs to absorb and understand where they're at. They need to get to acceptance. They've already lost. Now they're in denial, and they're trying to figure out stupid solutions that ain't going to work, trying to cock-block Trump, not making it not an easy transition, with every possible opposition from selling the fence to just not admitting that Trump won. There's a lot of things like that that are still gnashing of the teeth, probably destroying files and God knows what. I'm sure a lot of people are panicking they're going to lose their job and their position, considering Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Elon Musk, and Vivek Ramaswamy, and Trump, and a handful of others are going to come in there and start eyeballing these people for what they did. And what will happen is, when we get enough of this information out, like this 100-page drop today, we're going to find little nuggets, little Easter eggs in there, like this one here I'm fixing to explain to y'all. And these Easter eggs are going to be proven criminality. Now, we know what they did. We know how they did it. But if we've actually got tangible proof, like these text messages we got today, that's criminality. Liz Cheney is busted. And now people are talking about referring her for criminal charges. I think it was Mr. Loudermilk, Representative Loudermilk, is the one that decided today was the day to drop that bomb that Liz Cheney needs to be referred for criminal charges on day one. I love it. I love it. What's going to happen is Liz Cheney will just be the first. This is going to happen to Adam Schiff. This is going to happen to everybody on that J6 committee, including Adam Crying Kinzinger. He lied several times as well, no doubt about it. They've all lied. Everybody on that committee lied. And I don't know if you can get them for lying, but the corroboration and the collusion, there's definitely some criminality there. Coaxing the witnesses, that's some bullshit too. But let's go ahead and get into it, folks. This is crazy bit of information. It ain't been out too very long. But loser Liz Cheney just needs to go away. But she's not going to get a chance to go away. She's going to be in the news cycle over the next couple of months. She's going to be more popular than ever because people are going to be tweeting about her. They're going to be sharing videos like this one about her. It's fixing to happen. Liz Cheney's going to get more notoriety than she ever wanted before. And hopefully we'll get some criminal charges out of the deal and some prosecution and maybe some prison time. Just wishful thinking there, but I wouldn't be mad if it happened, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. She's a criminal. It says, uh-oh, new interim report on J6 dropped today. 100-page report. Liz Cheney and Cassidy Hutchins now potentially looking at prison sentences. If y'all don't remember, Cassidy Hutchins is the one that said that Trump was in the Beast or whatever the presidential car is, and he reached from the back seat of the limo over to the front seat of the limo and tried to wrestle the steering wheel away from the Secret Service driver because he wanted to go to the Capitol that day. That was the stupid story. That was one of the many, many lies that Cassidy Hutchins told before Congress. I remember well. That one stuck. All right. It says Cassidy Hutchins also lied to have drafted a handwritten note for Trump on January 6th. She said that as well. And she also said she lied about her classification status of... Hold on. Lied about her classification status of documents to disparage Mark Meadows, because Mark Meadows was her boss at the time, or actually previous to that. Liz Cheney and Cassidy Hutchins worked to wrongfully disbar Stephen Passantino. I don't know much about that. And to add context to this, recently, new text revealed Liz Cheney got busted secretly text messaging with J6 star witness Cassidy Hutchins about her testimony without her attorney's knowledge. Boom. There it is, folks. Cassidy Hutchins' secret signal messages were captured and revealed. Liz Cheney was discovered to be secretly communicating with star witness Cassidy Hutchins. Oops. Cheney communicated with Hutchins both directly and through an intermediary, Farrah Griffin, while Hutchins was represented by an attorney, Stephen Passantino. They actually decided to take Cassidy Hutchins, get rid of her attorney, and have Liz Cheney appoint Cassidy Hutchins a different attorney, one of her attorney, help corroborate the story. You know how that goes. Crazy stuff, folks. You haven't seen it? Here is the text that corroborate the timelines. Just trying to get back and forth in touch with each other. Proves it happened. Just a matter of exactly when it happened. That's the clincher here. But they definitely was trying to work together to get Trump. There's no doubt about it. Now, let me see here. I'm going to read this. What is at stake? Who has control? Who was surprised? Who will be surprised? Use your logic. Can emotions be used to influence decisions? Can you control emotions? Define plant. How do you insert a plant? Can emotions be used to insert a plant? Who is Cassidy Hutchins? Trust the plan. Now, I don't know who the heck that message was, but that one seemed to pop up there. Let me back out of this. Okay. I wish I had more reference on that one. No idea what that was. Sorry, folks. I have no idea.
Response to that, Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president. Take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel. And when Mr. Ornato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
And was Mr. Engel in the room as Mr. Ornato told you this story?
He was.
Did Mr. Engel correct or disagree?
See what they did there, folks? Bunch of chicken shit ass stuff, if you ask me. I ain't even lying to you. Sad situation. No doubt about it. Cassidy Hutchins and Liz Cheney cooperated together and lied, and it is getting exposed. had one more clip I wanted to bring y'all here over on the X. Oh, I have to back out of this one, I see. Bear with me, folks. And if you want to look at these actually texts, you can go straight over to Liz Cheney or Cassidy Hutchins' channel, and they've got the text there. They're actually all over the internet already. Not a whole lot said in them, just basically back and forth. Jack Sobek says, here is Liz Cheney text messages with Cassidy Hutchins. They show multiple calls between Cheney and Hutchinson without lawyers present. In fact, Hutchinson was sharing her lawyer's private text messages with Cheney. Damn. The new congressional report on Liz Cheney's unethical behavior in the J6 show trial also notes how Cassidy Hutchins lied about so many things, including me illegally obtaining classified information from Mark Meadows, says Molly Hemingway. Everything she said about me was false as well. Cassidy Hutchins' recollection of the events varied significantly from the evidence. Her version, through entirely uncorroborated, states that Meadows gave her the documents to Solomon and Molly Hemingway, another journalist, while he knew they were still classified. And that's absolutely what happened. They lied. Just tried to smear everybody they could in the whole situation. It's a mess. We're going to listen to one more clip right here, and we'll move on to the next topic. We'll listen to a little bit of what they think.
Administration Subcommittee on Oversight, the committee that's been...
Let me do that again.
It formally recommends that the Federal Bureau of Investigation Administration Subcommittee on Oversight, the committee that's been investigating January 6th, just released its final report for this year. It accuses Liz Cheney of tampering with the witness, Cassidy Hutchinson, trying to influence her testimony. It formally recommends that the Federal Bureau of Investigation criminally investigate Liz Cheney when President Trump takes over on January 20th. One of several bombshell revelations in here. The report also says that Jack Smith colluded with the January 6th committee, but that some of the evidence has not yet been turned over to Congress. They're demanding that that evidence be turned over, something that might happen when the new administration takes over. But a really significant and rare moment for Congress to actually suggest that one of its members should be criminally prosecuted for tampering with a witness in an official government proceeding.
You see what's happening, folks? These Republicans are growing some teeth. The first congressman that you put before Congress, I don't know what happened here, that you put before Congress, you throw criminal charges, criminal referral charges up the chain to someone like Kash Patel. They let the FBI look into the evidence that we have. Pretty easy, open shut case. And they can do this with Adam Kinzinger, with Benny Thompson, every single one of these people on this J6 committee. A lot of people involved in the January 6th event. So many things, the virus, there were so many things that were illegally happening in the Congress, probably from both sides, to work against Trump and to work against our country. And a lot of that the information is already out there. Now it'll just be a matter of somebody having the balls, like Mr. Loudermilk today, to say, hey, we got to have some criminal referral over here on aisle 9. Liz Cheney is a criminal. I love it, folks. They refer one, they'll refer two. They're all going down, folks. Mark my words. Maybe it's just hope, but I believe these communists that are trying to destroy our country, including these rhinos, are going to go down in flames for the way they've treated our country, the way they've treated Trump, the way they've lied an endless amount of times. It's a crazy situation, but that's the facts, folks. I'm just glad to see it's happening. Lie on Trump, see if it don't come back and bite you in the ass. Now, folks, I want to get into something else. This is Stephen A. Smith, another topic. But like I said, I watched this guy yesterday. Played y'all a short clip of some of his full conversation yesterday, and he was on fire with the truth. Now, he claims to be an independent, not a Democrat, but I always thought him as a Democrat. But he's venting, and I think it needs to be heard, not so much by us, but by anybody that you know that would listen to this guy because they watch sports, because he's a sports commentator, or anybody that you know that is of the melanated skin color. They won't listen to most people that are of a different skin color when it comes to advice, especially about politics. But this guy's testimonial right here, or podcast speech, awesome. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'll stop it a couple times, make a few comments, and we'll call this a wrap.
Some politics and social media where some of you, no surprises, you're just continuing to piss me off. Why? Because every time I make a comment that's critical of the Democratic Party or the left, I get accused of being a pundit for the right. Prior to the election cycle, I voiced my concerns about Joe Biden and his ability to serve as second term as president. Then Biden stepped on the debate stage in late June and revealed what many suspected. He embarrassed himself. The White House and the Democrats eventually switched to Vice President Kamala Harris when he stepped away, who ultimately ran what some would say a valiant presidential campaign, at least in the eyes of some, that ultimately fell short with voters across the country. I pointed out my concerns with the campaign and the Democratic Party along the way, and many of you wanted to accuse me of being a voice for the right. So you know what? I feel like it's time to set the record straight, because ain't nobody hiding, ain't nobody running. Okay? Let me be very, very clear. I'm a registered independent because I don't trust either side. I think both sides are full of it on so many levels and so many circumstances, it's nauseating.
I agree. We got way too many squishy people in the middle. We got way too many Republicans that are really rhinos. We got way too many people that you think are your elected senators, and they're there to help you, and they are. But more than that, they're there to keep their job, pad their pockets. And if helping you happens to be a part of the program, they'll go along with it because it helps them get reelected.
But I also want to take a moment, because a lot of people out there on social media have been saying to me, here, Stephen A., you take these positions, you're frustrated with the Democratic Party, but then you voted for Kamala Harris against Trump. Why? It's very, very simple.
Listen.
I believe that Donald Trump has been a divisive figure. And I was thinking coming into this election that the last thing we needed was 4 more years of what we saw the last time, where there was so much strife and so much division that even though the economy clearly was doing well under his watch before COVID struck, it was just too much for the country to take.
Now, stop that right there. I have had this exact conversation with probably 4 or 5 people this year when I asked them, what do you got against Trump? Why don't you like Trump? I even asked my Mo guy, an older black guy, and his answer was pretty much that right there. Not that he didn't call Trump a racist, but his attitude was, this country's been stirred up ever since Trump showed up. Well, it absolutely has. I mean, the media went nuts attacking Trump, lying, attacking him. Trump tried to fight the system to help the American people, and most people just didn't get it. Or actually, about half the country got it back then, 2015, 2016. But I've heard the same argument several times. The country was divided when Trump showed up. It was divided. He had to be the great divider in order for people to separate the wheat from the chaff, like it says in the good book. And that's what we're doing. We won the election, and it's time. It's time for the harvest, folks, no doubt about it. But yes, if Trump wasn't such a divisive person, we would not be looking forward and having hope for this presidency. His divisiveness scares the hell out of every one of these world leaders. They want to be his friend because they don't know what to think about him, and but they respect him. I don't know how he works it, but it works great. Hell of a personality on the guy. I give him that. But we'll go ahead and get back into this. It's kind of long. I don't think we'll listen to the whole thing, but this guy is telling it like it is, and hopefully some of his Democrat listeners are paying attention.
I was fearful of civil war in this country. It wasn't so much that he was supportive of white supremacists and he was this racist and all of this stuff like people were saying. I didn't engage in that incendiary rhetoric because I've always believed that Donald Trump was just somebody who did things that were politically expedient. If supporting one side was going to generate votes for him, he would flow with it. And if it was not going to support his cause, he wasn't. It's just simple. It's just that simple. Why did I say that? And why did I refrain from that incendiary rhetoric that was thrown in his direction? It was because I knew Donald Trump before he ran for president. And black, whites, male, females, and everybody in between got along with him great. So for all of a sudden, everybody to stand up and act like he was this pariah was BS. But I was also acknowledging he didn't help his own cause. From the moment in 2015 when he strolled down those escalators with Melania, the man offended 50% of the population back then in 2015. Came across as xenophobic in the eyes of many. And it just...
The media did that.
Seemed to go downhill from there. So after he served his 4 years in the White House, I didn't want to repeat all of that. But I didn't call him a racist. I didn't compare him to Nazis. I didn't sit up there and accuse him of befriending white supremacists and all of that stuff because I knew no matter what people believed, they were trying to politicize it. So when I thought about him against Kamala Harris, I said, excuse me, let me make sure Republicans are in the House and the Senate. You have somebody that's going to work with both sides in the White House and we'll have peace. Domestically. That's what I was thinking. But under no circumstances was I this raving supporter of Kamala Harris. I saw her during the primaries in 2020. I saw that she couldn't get to Iowa. I saw her comments about transgenders, particularly those in prison that wanted sex changes. I saw how incoherent she appeared in communicating what her objective would be when it came to the economy. I know for a fact that she was supposed to oversee the issues involving the border. Yes, like Roland Martin said, she wasn't the quote-unquote border czar, but she was perceived as such.
He's burning it down. I love it.
I also saw her go on The View and categorically deny that there was any need to change anything that Biden had done, even though over 12 million people crossed the border illegally, and you were acting like there was no border crisis. I saw the duplicitous sentences. I saw the inconsistencies. I also saw the hypocrisy. And as the election came about and ultimately unfolded, and I saw Donald Trump win convincingly. No, he did not get 50% of the popular vote, as the Democrats are so quick to point out. My attitude to them is shut the hell up. Nobody wants to hear that now. Who cares whether he got 50% of the vote or not? He beat you.
Yep.
In the popular vote and the Electoral College vote. He swept the swing states. He improved his numbers in every demographic imaginable. Blacks, Hispanics, women. He beat you. And the American people spoke, and they spoke flagrantly.
That's right.
And from that moment forward, I'm like, damn all of that. We're going to support the fact that he won the presidency. And I'm going to tell you where I'm at with it. And that doesn't mean I'm going to become some registered Republican, because I still find them a bit shaky. But when I see Attorney Bragg in New York trying to convince the judge and the courts to treat Donald Trump as if he's deceased, as if he has died, just to make sure that your convictions on those 34 felony accounts remains a part of the record, it just shows another level of patheticness, if that is such a word, that creeps in. Once again, you can't let it go. He is the
He's telling it, folks.
President-elect of the United States of America. In January 20th, he is going to be the president of the United States. And you want to sit up here and waste taxpayer dollars and literally go before the courts to do everything you can to make his conviction a matter of record, knowing he ain't going to get any jail time, You're not going to be able to incarcerate him. You're not going to be able to fine him. Sir, it's over. It's over. Democrats, it's over. It's over. I'm going to say this before and I'll say it again. You know what I would do if I were Joe Biden, President Joe Biden? Especially since I basically gave the Democratic Party the finger because you kept saying, we follow the rule of law, we follow the rule of law, we follow the rule of law. And then you went and you circumvented all of that to get to pardon your son Hunter. Since you were willing to do that, if I was President Joe Biden, I would pardon Donald Trump. I'm going to say it again. I would pardon Donald Trump. For one.
That would actually be the right thing to do. Just to show that he's human. And if he doesn't, that's fine. We're going to get all these clowns that started this mess, that created all these problems, and we're going to round them up and put them in cages when it's all said and done, the paperwork's filed. That's what I have to believe. Only way we're going to fix our country, folks. We can't give them a slap on the wrist and let them do it next year. Not going to work that way.
One reason and one reason only. To move the hell on. Enough's enough. Enough's enough.
That's right.
You tried to get him if you Nancy Pelosi. You tried to get him if you Chuck Schumer. You tried to get him if you were the Dems in the Senate and the House. You tried to get him if you were the FBI. You tried to get him if you were the Department of Justice. You tried to get him. I mean, damn. Russian collusion. What happened? See, we keep talking and talking and talking. And all we see at the end of the day is that you inconvenience Donald Trump and you caused him headaches. Probably forced him to take a few doses of Motrin or Tylenol. That's all you did. You ain't doing anything else to him. He is back in the White House next month.
He's right. This needs to be an acceptance letter to all the haters out there that are in denial of what is and can't accept the fact that they've lost and they're not going to have 4 more years of transgender open border woke bullshit. That stuff's going to go away, go by the wayside, and our economy's actually going to get better. Our border's going to get closed. We're going to actually deport some people. We're going to lock some people up. We're going to hold some people accountable. We're going to make life better for each and every American on a personal level when it comes to their finances. That's all coming, folks. And if you're not on board with that, you might as well leave the country, because that's what's coming. And like he says, you need to get over yourself. I couldn't have said it better.
All that shit y'all did, all the stuff you pulled, you had your surrogates out there, your pundits out there, you engaged in lawfare, you did everything. And you convinced the American people, yo, his ass belongs in jail. And where he going instead? Back to the White House. So, of course, when you see that preponderance of evidence that ultimately hits us, with the reality is that no matter how hard you try, whatever mechanisms you put in place, whatever, tactics you utilized, it all amounted to nothing.
That's right.
Joe Biden, they caught him sleeping at an African conference in Angola. Donald Trump wide awake, going back to the White House. Peggy Noonan, an outstanding columnist for the Wall Street Journal, wrote about the unprecedents that exist with a president-elect who's usually chilling. They're normally only making news when there are headlines announcing their cabinet members. Yet, Donald Trump is walking around like he's president now.
That's right.
In France recently, for the reopening, the Notre Dame Cathedral, talking to Zelensky for Ukraine, no doubt Putin for Russia, talking to Benjamin Netanyahu with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? Look at what is happening. Every time there is substantive stuff to talk about in the world of politics, Donald Trump's name is the headline instead of President Joe Biden. Y'all
It's a
lost.
fact. He done took over.
The Democrats, you lost. You got your ass kicked in every way imaginable. And why am I saying it like that? It's not because of the election. It's because of what's still happening. Every single other day, this man is making headlines.
You got your ass kicked. I love it. I love it. This guy's great.
About political issues that are supposed to be dominated by President Biden and the White House. It's not happening. It's him. If that ain't definitive evidence that you have lost, and it is time to lick your wounds, look in the mirror, and revisit all of those tactics you tried to exercise, clearly in an effort to keep him out of the White House, it's now. Maybe you shouldn't have adopted woke
Maybe not.
culture, embraced woke culture
Right.
and woke ideology the way that you should. To the LGBTQ community, anybody with decency should support you and your right to live your life. But I didn't hear the right talking about the LGBT community in general and painting everybody with a broad brush. I heard them addressing transgender issues in terms of
There it is.
somebody electing to change their gender, participating, men transitioning into women, but competing with women. Now, we can get into the nuances and to particulars about it, and the Democrats can sit up there and say that the Republicans are misrepresenting their positions and vice versa, what have you. Here's the bottom line. They were successful in disseminating whatever they wanted their message to be to the masses better than you were. You lost.
American people don't want men and women's sports. American people don't want their children turned into transgenders while they're supposed to be at school. It's not normal. And the Democratic Party tried to force it down our throats and normalize it, and it didn't sell. It didn't work. We repudiate it and spit it out of our mouths like a bad taste in our mouth. No doubt about it. And we're not going back to that. The next political candidate on the left or the right that decides that they want to run on wokeness, they're not going to make it. They'll be like Dylan Mulvaney, looking for a job.
And you're still walking around here, evidenced by the latest from Attorney Bragg in New York State, evidenced by him trying to keep the conviction alive. What is that going to resolve? Donald Trump, felony convictions. It's a matter of record. Wow! I mean, you're really accomplishing great things there, huh? He ain't going to prison. He's not even forced to keep on an ankle bracelet and be confined to his home, which is a resort, by the way, Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Oh no, he's going back to the White House. And he travels back to Mar-a-Lago at his discretion, whenever he damn well pleases. You lost. Let it go. When we want to talk about whether or not I want to be a Republican or whatever, listen, there are conservative issues that I adamantly support. I support lower taxes. I support free market capitalism. I support controlling our borders. Absolutely. And I'm a big dude on national security. I ain't apologizing for that to anybody. On those issues, I'm conservative. What am I liberal on? Live and let live. Social issues. Heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, gay, lesbian, whatever. It's your life. And I'm certainly down for looking out for the desolate and disenfranchised. You're a minority community in this country, you need help, I'm down for it. You're poor.
Here you go. Check this out. I'm going to show you a little more of this. This is great. He trashes One of my favorite ones to trash.
How come it couldn't be her policies? We supported Hillary Rodham Clinton. Sick of it. Sick of the Democrats walking around like they have such a higher moral compass, a higher moral foundation than everybody else. No, enough of that demagoguery. Enough of that fear-mongering. No, your behinds need to go out there and learn to politic better to win. Make sure your issues are better. Make sure you're capable of doing a better job. Wes Moore, Governor of Maryland, you'd have my vote tomorrow, my brother.
Before he rattles off some of his other conservatives that he prefers to support, he does actually make a good point there. If the Republican Party is trying to reform and fix this country with the MAGA, America First policies, that's a great thing. What the Democrat Party should be doing, if they were sane, if they had any brains at all, even way back when, or even from this point forward, they would be trying to do things. If they were trying to actually win the next election or the next several elections, they'd have to change their ways. They'd have to stop being selfish, elitist mentality, victimized. The whole crazy woke crap would have to go away. What they'd have to do is they would have to be competitive with the Republican Party on some of the same issues. Because everybody wants to have no crime. Everybody wants closed borders. I mean, 3/4 of the population wants these common sense issues that Trump run on and won on. If the Democrats had any brains at all and wanted to be competitive to actually stand a chance in a race on policy, I'm not talking about cheating and things, but on policy, whether they win or lose, if they were both competitive to bring their best foot forward to get the votes of their constituents, then the best man or woman should win in theory. That's a democracy in theory. But it would actually make the country better if the Democrats and the Republicans were both on Team America, even if they had different policy issues. Well, that's not the case anymore. Now we have the America First Republicans that want to rebuild this country, want to fix this country, want to fix our economy, want to close our borders. And then you've got the Democrat Party that it looks like every mouthpiece in the Democrat Party is, with the exception of just a few, have lost their minds. They want open borders. They want to be able to cheat in elections. They've obviously lost a step if they think that policy doesn't matter. If policy is second fiddle to celebrities, being at these celebrities at fundraisers and celebrities trying to get you elected. Well, how did that work for them? So if the Democrats are ever going to do anything to try to help our country, they're going to have to figure out how to play a more competitive game. And I'm not talking about dirty tricks, but a more competitive game on trying to bring better policies. That's the way this government was designed, to have a two-party system. That way, you could both hash out the good and the bad that you both have on each side, and hopefully somehow meet in the middle. But not happening right now. We're very polarized, very tribal in our parties. Now, some of the Democrats are going to come on over to our way of thinking in the next couple of years. It's expected. Hopefully, a majority of the Democrat Party, when they figure out that it pays better to be working under Trump versus Sippy Cup and Cackler. All right, folks, we're going to play the rest of this video, and I'm going to get out of here. It's got a couple more minutes left of this, another minute or so. Here we go.
But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I also like Byron Donald, representative out of Florida.
I do, too.
That's where I'm at with it. I'd love for Wes Moore to be the president of the United States in 2028. I'd love for Byron Donald to be the next governor of Florida. There, I said it. If that ain't independence, I don't know what is. But I'm sick of all of this. I really am. Democrats, you lost. You got your butts whipped. Own it, live with it, accept it, embrace it, and look in the damn mirror.
I know that was kind of a long video, folks. I couldn't help it. I wanted to play the whole thing. He got a subscription from me. I've been playing his videos 2 days in a row now. I didn't know he had any conservative values at all, but obviously we're getting to know the man a little better. How could you be a sports commentator and not have and not want equality and justice? You're watching something that involves supposedly fair play.